I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the Johnny Depp show.
Amber Heard, back on the stand as the last witness in her rebuttal case, calling the trial the Johnny Depp show. It's her last chance to prove her defamation counterclaim and to defend herself against Depp's lawsuit.
Did Mr. Depp abuse you physically?
Yes.
Verbally?
Yes.
Emotionally?
Yes.
Psychologically?
Yes.
I'm Angenette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar, where we take a closer look at the testimony in the trial of Johnny Depp v. Amber Heard. And Thursday was the last day of testimony in the case. The day began with the last witness in Johnny Depp's rebuttal case, an orthopedic surgeon called to rebut the testimony of an orthopedic surgeon called by Heard's team. Dr. Richard Gilbert gave his opinion on what could have caused part of Depp's right middle finger to be severed.
In your view, what types of mechanisms can cause this sort of injury?
So this is a mechanism of injury that has high velocity or force, generally a crush type injury. A simple fall would not result in a comminuted fracture such as is seen in these x-rays.
And we're using the term comminuted fracture. Can we just define that quickly for us?
So again, comminuted, and it's not particular to a finger, is a medical term for a fracture that has multiple fragments.
In your opinion, could this injury have been sustained in the manner Mr. Depp described?
I do believe so.
And how might that work? How might a thrown vodka bottle produce an injury like this?
So a vodka bottle, which is a hard object, would have crushed the tip of the finger, resulting in the comminuted fracture. And in addition, as the vodka bottle broke, the glass would have lacerated the finger, resulting in the soft tissue loss that was also seen with this injury.
On cross-examination, Heard's lawyer, Ben Rottenborn, asked Dr. Gilbert whether it was true that he is paid $1,000 per hour for his work. Dr. Gilbert said yes, that's his rate. Rottenborn also questioned the doctor about his opinion.
Your explanation of that is that you believe that his hand must have moved at some point during the force of the injury. Isn't that correct?
No, I said it could have, but I did not say that it did.
No, you believe that it did, don't you?
I said that it likely did, but I was not there, and I don't have videotape of the injury, so I can't determine that definitively.
Depp's team rested its rebuttal case, and then Amber Heard called rebuttal witnesses, including forensic psychologist Dr. Dawn Hughes, who said she believed Depp's expert, Dr. Shannon Curry, was confused when asked about Curry's opinions on Hughes's testing methods. Heard's case concluded with Heard taking the stand again.
What do you hope to reclaim after this is over?
Protecting the secret that I did for as long as I did has taken enough of my voice. Johnny has taken enough of my voice. I have the right to tell my story. I have the right to say what happened to me. I have the right to my voice and my name. He took it long enough. I have a right as an American to talk about what happened to me, to own my story and my truth. I have that right. I hope to get my voice back. It's all I want. And I've said that from day one.
And once again, Amber Heard faced a tough cross-examination by Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez.
And the manager of the Hicksville trailer park was furious that Johnny had wrecked the whole thing. Do you remember that testimony?
That's correct.
Well, we heard from that manager of the Hicksville trailer park, Morgan Knight, on Monday, didn't we?
I'm not quite sure who that guy was or if he had any involvement in this. I know a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to be involved.
So you're accusing Mr. Knight of testifying and committing perjury?
I'm not accusing anyone. I just don't recognize that man.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was upset with Mr. Depp spending time away from him. Isn't that correct?
How would he know? He wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was yelling at Mr. Depp.
Again, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the Johnny Depp show, but he wasn't there. He doesn't know, and he certainly doesn't know what happened behind closed doors.
You should have seen Ben Chu's face when Amber Heard said she'd heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the, quote, Johnny Depp show. It looked like he mouthed, wow. Then Vasquez moved on to May 27th, 2016, the day that Amber Heard went to court and requested that domestic violence restraining order against Johnny Depp.
Ms. Heard, you told this jury that you had no idea the press was going to be at the courthouse when you got your TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
No. My question again. You told this jury that you had no idea that the press was going to be outside after you got the ex-parte TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I apologize. I must have misunderstood Ms. Vasquez. I actually had no idea whether they were going to be there or not. When I walked into the courtroom that day, it was completely quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing the
Objection.
TRO,
Your Honor, this is not
we had no
responsive.
reason to
Move
believe
to
the
strike.
press knew.
And Your Honor, I would also ask that you instruct the witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Your Honor, she's trying to answer the question as best she can, and Ms. Vasquez is misrepresenting to her what she testified to.
I'll strike the last part as non-responsive.
Thank you.
Just if you could answer the questions asked. Okay, thank you, Ms. Heard.
In fact, you testified that you were, quote, shocked when you saw press when you were leaving the courthouse. Yes?
Yes.
You weren't shocked at all, though, were you?
Incorrect. It was
You knew the
horrifying.
press would be at the courthouse, right, Ms. Heard?
No.
Well, you did bring your publicist to the courthouse with you on May 27th, 2016, didn't you?
I sure did. I'm a public figure. I brought my publicist in case it blew up. In case. And
You actually
I'm glad
had
I did.
alerted TMZ that you would be filing a TRO against Mr. Depp that very day,
No, I did
didn't
not.
you?
No, I did
The
not.
one day you didn't bother to wear makeup to cover up the mark on your face.
I did not call TMZ or any other news source or paparazzi source. No one. I
We
never
heard
did that.
testimony from former TMZ employee Morgan Tremaine yesterday, correct?
Did I hear his testimony?
Yes.
Yes, I was here.
Yes. And you heard Mr. Tremaine's testimony that he knew to dispatch the paparazzi to the courthouse on May 27th, right?
I heard him say that he knew that, yes.
Yeah, and that he dispatched paparazzi to the courthouse to capture a picture of an alleged bruise on the right side of your face. Do you remember him saying that?
I remember him saying that.
That information must have come from your team, right, Ms. Heard?
Absolutely not. Why would I want that? What actual survivor of domestic violence wants that?
Heard maintains that she didn't tip off TMZ about the restraining order, but former TMZ employee Morgan Tremaine testified that he dispatched a crew to the courthouse that day and that Heard was supposed to turn so the photographer could get a clear photo of her cheek with a mark on it that she says was a bruise.
When you told this jury under oath that you punched Mr. Depp because you thought of Mr. Depp pushing Kate Moss down the stairs, you didn't expect Ms. Moss to agree to testify that never happened, did you?
Incorrect. I know how many people will come out of the woodwork to be in support of Johnny.
So
It
you
is
think
clear
Ms.
by this
Moss
courtroom
needs
how
to
many
come
people
out
will
of the
do that.
woodwork to testify for Mr. Depp?
Everybody who was around in the 90s and the early aughts knew that rumor. I had heard that rumor from multiple people. Of course, that's what flashed through my head when my violent husband not only swung for me, but all of a sudden swung for my sister. Of course I thought of that. I did not expect her to show up or not expect her to show up. It didn't matter. It doesn't change what I believed at the time when we were on the stairs and I thought he was going to kill my sister by pushing her down the stairs.
When answering another question from Vasquez, Heard seemed to make an admission about the Washington Post op-ed that's at the center of Depp's defamation claim.
You didn't expect a TMZ employee to show up to testify that TMZ had been alerted that you would be at the courthouse and knew exactly which side of your face to take a picture of, did you?
I know how many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed. I was speaking to that phenomenon. How many people will come out in support of him and will fall to his power? He is a very powerful man, and people love currying favor with powerful men.
Currying
and I know
favor
that
and
firsthand. I've
risking
lived
jail
it.
time for committing perjury?
Excuse me? I didn't hear your question.
You didn't hear
Excuse
my
me?
question?
Ms. Vasquez, if you do mind,
Curry-
please just repeat the question. I didn't hear you.
Curry favor and commit perjury in this courtroom?
I have
For a
seen people
powerful
do this.
man?
I have seen people do this time and time again. That's why I wrote the op-ed.
Wouldn't you just love to know what the jury thought about that answer? Heard said that she knew how many people would come out to defend Depp, a powerful man, and that she had seen it before. When Heard testified in her case in chief, She said the op-ed was not about Johnny Depp. Ben Rottenborn asked Heard on redirect whether she ever faked injuries, and she said no. Then Heard's team rested. Judge asked Karate and the lawyers for both sides, then finalized jury instructions. And just a couple of notes on things you might not have heard about or seen. Ben Chu, he was walking through the hallway on Thursday morning, and I asked him if he had a ferret sticking out of his pocket as he was walking down the hallway, and he said, no, it's an alpaca. I swear to you, I saw this furry thing sticking out of his pocket, and I really didn't make the connection. But he apparently has an alpaca that he carries around in his pocket. I hadn't seen that before. Also, Stephen Deuters, who used to be the personal assistant for Johnny Depp, but now runs the European division of his production company, posted on his Instagram story on Thursday that for years, people accused him of leaking the information about Johnny Depp to TMZ. He says finally people know it wasn't him. And that's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar podcast. I'm Angenette Levy, and I want to thank you for making us the #1 news podcast in several countries around the globe. It's really exciting. I just still can't express to you how grateful we are that you've trusted us to bring you information about this case. A lot of people look at me like I'm crazy when I tell them this is not a case about Hollywood. This is not just about Hollywood. This is an important case for many reasons. It's about the Me Too movement. It's about men as domestic violence victims, and it's also about the First Amendment. So I want you to think about that as we move forward. Closing arguments will be heard on Friday morning. We will, of course, have those covered for you. You can find this podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. I'm Angenette Levy, and we will see you next time.